Tucked in the outskirts of Nairobi, the 1,041 hectares of Karura forest stands strong, all because of an unbowed woman whose voice was loud and clear in matters environmental conservation, the late Professor Wangari Maathai. But the struggle for Karura was not an easy one. A vast swath of Karura forest had been allocated to private developers in September 1999. That alone was a hit below the belt for Wangari Maathai, who had to fight off not only the then government but also hired goons in a bid to protect the forest.
Our forefathers shed blood for land. We will do so. This is my blood.
I watched her really struggle to make sense of why anybody would try and misappropriate 1,000 hectares in the middle of Nairobi that belonged to all of us. And I think that didn't make sense to me at the time. I would say Karura Forest was one where we were like, really? But clearly it was worth it.
It is in this area where blood, sweat and tears were shed by the late Professor Wangari Maathai as she fought against private developers from Karura Forest. This area was the battleground, and in her honor, it is referred to as the Wangari Maathai Corner. 1,000 trees were planted in honor of the fight won in protecting the forest. The trees she planted steadily growing to form an ecosystem of both the indigenous and exotic trees. The forest has become a footprint of the struggle of an eco-warrior, but more so, motivation for the Greenbelt movement to keep up the fight even after the demise of their founder.
After what happened during the task force, some of those recommendations that you made are those you are seeing being implemented, and that's why you are seeing buildings being pulled down.
Karura Forest has attracted a lot of private developers, not only from here in Kenya, but also internationally.
And very recently, there was an almost total revocation of titles that had been there for a very long time. And so it's as safe as it's ever been.
Karura Forest is just a chapter in the book of Wangari Maathai's life in conservation, but it is a spectacle to behold, with trekking trucks, friendly animals, and a waterfall at the center of the forest.
Thank you.
She was a woman who wanted to be remembered for her love for the environment, but she ended up representing so much more. And 7 years later, Professor Wangari Maathai's legacy lives on. Raquel Muigai for Citizen TV, Nairobi.